32 children, a father, a vanishing village. Do you dare to live in it? A warm and unique story. A Chinese man in his 30s, impregnating 32 women in a remote mountain village. Jiang Hai, 31 years old. Originally, he lived a relatively stable life in China. He worked in the marketing department of a large company. Every day, immerse yourself in a myriad of advertising planning and market analysis. He enjoys a salary and benefits that many people envy. But one day he suddenly doubted. If you spend your whole life like this, is it really what he wants? Maybe to outsiders, his life is good enough, but he craves something that will challenge him. A career that allows him to devote himself passionately. From the age of 20, he likes to travel on and off. On a short vacation, he has traveled to neighboring countries such as Southeast Asia, Japan, and China. Experience an unfamiliar culture. I couldn't be more excited, he often wondered. Someday, I'm going to put my heart and soul into it. Throw yourself into a road that no one has traveled. As he entered his 30s, this dream gradually became firm. If he can be in the really undeveloped area, identify business opportunities, and bring it all over the world. Everyone around him warned him that he was too risky, but he eventually made up his mind. He took out his resignation compensation and savings. He left the company as soon as he turned 31. Initially, he considered South America and Africa. But when studying China, he read some about Yunnan and the southwestern highlands of Sichuan province. The canyon is still isolated, and the articles of traditional minorities are preserved. In these articles, some even hint at it. An unknown tribe exists consisting entirely of women. The idea piqued his curiosity greatly. If such a place really exists, whether he can work with them, embark on an innovative business venture. He wanted to know too. One without a male. Behind the community of people, there may be some special story hidden. He couldn't get rid of these thoughts. I packed my bags, got on a plane to China. After a short stay in Beijing, he went straight to Kunming, the capital of Yunnan province. He met backpackers from hotels and cafes, as well as a number of NGO staff there, gathering information. But most people think the story of an all-female tribe is just an urban legend. Still, some whispered. I heard about it in the mountains near the border of Sichuan and Yunnan. It is about 2,300 meters above sea level. There is a village with almost no men. Or I don't know the specific location or name. Jiang Hai hired a guide and a car at his own expense, began a perilous journey to the northwest. He traveled through the highlands and canyons for 2 weeks. But to nothing. Is it really just a rumor? Just when he was getting more and more disappointed, an old man from the village mentions a legend. Say that there is a tribe of men leaving because of war or conflict. Only the woman who was hiding in the mountains remained. Maybe they still exist, he said. The direction he is pointing. It is a vaguely marked area on the map. The average person doesn't go there. Roads are almost non-existent. Hear this. Jiang Hai became more determined. That's him. That's the place. He exclaimed. Even if it's dangerous. I want to try it too. The guide shook his head. Said I couldn't go there either. How to get there? That's all I have to do here. In the end, he only let the guide accompany him part of the way. Then had to rely on public transport, motorcycles, and their own feet find their way out. In the process, there was an accident. One of the Chinese guides who was traveling with him was seriously injured. Jiang Hai had no choice. He could only be left in a nearby village. Continue to explore this alone. It was a reckless adventure that could lead to his death. But he didn't look back. I've come this far. Can't give up. After a few days of walking in the canyon, he arrived in a truly desolate district. The road is almost completely gone. He had to abandon his motorcycle and go on foot. As he walked along a narrow path on the edge of a cliff, he saw a spectacular river running in the distance. But he didn't have time to appreciate it. He was afraid that the path would collapse. Finally, in one afternoon, Jiang Hai accidentally stumbled while crossing an old iron bridge. The situation is very critical. Luckily, He grabbed a rope. Falls were avoided. But he suffered multiple injuries to his body and collapsed from exhaustion. Just when he was confused. I thought if no one came to save me, I'm done. He saw. In the distance, a torch-like light was approaching. Then, he heard some voices. Feed. Are you okay? Mixed with some Chinese. Jiang Hai is too weak. Unexplainable. Just vaguely said help me. He lost consciousness. When he woke up, he was in a strange shack. He smelled the smell of a campfire. His backpack was right next to him. He looked around. Saw a woman who looked to be in her 30s. Was looking at him with a worried expression. Do you hurt a lot? We've taken care of it for you urgently, he said. Jiang Hai tried to sit up, but his body hurt everywhere. Thank you. I'm lost, the woman replied. It's okay. It's great that you're alive. Another round-eyed young woman was staring at him. They seemed to communicate in a mix of English and Chinese. Jiang Hai asked where this was. This is our village. We are ordinary people. We don't have men here. So you are our welcome guest. Although the woman smiled, Jiang Hai's heart was pounding. Difficult. Dao, this is really the place I've been looking for. He thought to himself, and he struggled to sit up and said, I am Chinese. I came here after a long journey. Will you accept me? The woman tilted her head and said, yes. In accordance with our traditions. We don't accept men. But we see you're in danger. So we can't sit idly by. However, I need to talk to the village elders. Talk to someone else. That night, Jiang Hai stayed in the shack to regain his strength. He had a fever. But those women took care of him. Give him water boiled with herbs. And applied ointment to his wounds. Thank God. They are all good people. Maybe they weren't hostile to men. She was anxious. But the atmosphere was not hostile. Instead, she sensed a strange curiosity. The next day, Jiang Hai met with the representatives of the village. A woman in her 40s named Aisha. He explained. There are currently 32 women in the village. Ages range from 20s to 40s. For a variety of reasons. Either the Iban men died, either left and went to the city. Only these women are left to protect their homes. It's been a long time since we've distrusted men. We were almost completely cut off from the outside world. But now that you're injured and lost, we have decided to take charge of healing you, Aisha said. Jiang Hai replied, thank you. Actually, I came to this village on purpose. I've heard that there is a unique tribe of women here. They are in the absence of men, living a self-sufficient life. I explore business opportunities with curiosity. I had an accident on the way here, but I managed to get here anyway. Aisha asked, what exactly does a business opportunity mean? He went on to explain. Crops produced here. Herbs and handicrafts. It can be sold in the city or overseas. But since there are no roads, there is very little communication with the outside world. So you've been having a hard time. I would like to do this by forming a cooperative to help you sell these products. Of course, I have some experience, but only if you want to. The women of the village whispered. I've heard of cooperatives. We have never dreamed of large-scale trading or external sales because we have never had a man. Maybe he just wants to use us to make money. There are also voices of skepticism. Jiang Hai said, no, I will share the profits with you fairly. I am a Chinese, so I don't have much foundation abroad. But I can do it through an online platform, social media and overseas exports to help you. It's a partnership. He tried to convince them. After a night of discussions, most of the women agreed. Say, let's try it. If we continue like this, there is no future for the village. Aisha concluded. During the time you've lived here, let's learn how to run a cooperative. Sell our products. However, some remain cautious. Said that now a man has come in. We don't know what's going to go wrong. And said to be careful. A few days after Jiang Hai began to organize cooperatives, the atmosphere in the village began to change. He examined a variety of grains, the state of production of medicinal herbs and handicrafts. Ways to improve storage and resource management are also proposed. The women were surprised. Say, we never thought about it. We've always been self-sufficient on a small scale. They decided to record the number of harvests and try to co-distribute in order to find ways to export high-quality herbs to external markets. Jiang Hai plans to go to nearby cities and other villages. Some women decided to work as interpreters and guides. Therein too, some young and enthusiastic women asked for an education. Say we also want to learn in the process. It was noted. The women gradually approach the river and see no longer in a restrained manner. Women in their early 20s joked. It was amazing to meet a man for the first time. Women in their 30s expressed their sincere affection. Say we're before. Never worked with a man like this. Among women in their 40s, some people say we've been without men for too long. We don't have children either. I've always wanted to. It's not like that's why we're dying. But after seeing the dawn, something deep inside me was touched. And then one night, a woman in her 30s, named Lana, knocked on Dawn's door. Can I talk to you about that? When he came in, he said the truth is, we don't have men, so we haven't been able to have children. We've been worried. Villages will quickly disappear due to depopulation. But since you've come, everyone felt hopeful. He confessed. Jiang Hai replied, I've heard about it. Lana added, you know we need to reproduce. Right. But we are still hesitant to formally raise the matter. His meaning is obvious. They want children. But since there are no men, they wanted to know if he could play the role. Jiang Hai's mood became complicated. Do they really want to get several women pregnant? Lana said. Most of the women in our village would think so. But we're still cautious. Because we haven't known you for long. Personally, for me, I really want to have a child. I'm in my 30s. I think if I waited any longer, pregnancy can become difficult. He felt a lot of pressure. But it's still vague. If you really want to, and it's mutually agreeable, I might be able to help. Wait a little longer. We'll talk to you about it. If we agree, we will formally request you. There will be no coercion. Lana finished and went back. A few days later, a meeting was held in the village. Originally, they were going to discuss the operation of the cooperative and transportation plans. But unconsciously, the conversation shifted. How we will increase the population of the village in the future. Many women exchanged views. Say that there is no future without children. Oh, even if we accept men outside, it is also unlikely that they will settle down. Then, a shocking point of view emerged. We have rivers and seas here. An alien man. And he's like our co-op leader. The work is trustworthy. Is he allowed to cooperate with us to have children? Jiang Hai said in a panic. I was a little caught off guard. But if you guys really want to. But the women were adamant. Most of us want that. This is necessary to rebuild villages and protect the population. It was suggested that it said. But that doesn't mean all women want to. What if we only do it with those who want to get pregnant? Someone said worriedly. Wouldn't it be difficult for those of us in our 40s? Women in their 20s and 30s almost unanimously agreed. In the end, everyone reached a consensus. If 32 people are women of childbearing potential, about 20 people want to get pregnant. They will decide on a timetable. Try to get pregnant with Jiang Hai. If the child is born, everyone will raise together. Even if Jiang Hai left the village, he will also be responsible for taking care of the child and the mother. However, they want if possible. He was able to stay in the village. Jiang Hai was confused, but on the other hand, the thought that he could be in saving this community, play a decisive role. He felt a strange sense of responsibility and emotion. Is this really possible? I'm going to have a baby with a couple of women. He buried his head in his hands. But when the women look at him with pleading eyes, say we have to do it, if you don't want to, we can't help it. Jiang Hai said okay, let's do it. But mutual respect and consideration must be a premise. End of meeting. And the women began to shout. We can finally have children. Our village can be saved from extinction. Jiang Hai smiled awkwardly, since they were so happy. I can't be irresponsible. After that, the village developed a pregnancy schedule. Out of 32 women, there were 10 in their 20s, 10 in their 30s, 12 were in their 40s. More than half of women in their 40s want to participate. But because of age, they may be less likely to become pregnant. But anyway, they decided to do their best to keep it that possible. Jiang Hai drew up a schedule so that he would take turns with 2 or 3 women every week, because it's going to be very hard physically. The women also said, "We need to provide him with nutritious food. Let him have a good rest. We can't let him fall," and laughed. Over the course of a month, Jiang Hai is busy working for the cooperative every day and take turns with these women. Of course, some women developed a love for him, and some women. It is done purely for the sake of procreation. Dealing with these things emotionally is challenging, but the whole village has agreed. They try to minimize jealousy and conflict by minimizing it, to keep the peace. Women in their 20s joked that I was young, so I'll be pregnant soon, and enjoy a sweet time with the river and the sea. Women in their 30s are more serious. I never thought about it. I would have children that way. But glad you're here, they said. Some women in their 40s are cautiously worried. I'm old. Will you not be able to conceive, Jiang Hai? Reassure them not to worry too much. If you can't get pregnant, we can't help it. If you're pregnant, that's a blessing. They all have a compelling reason to want to get pregnant. A village with only women and no children. Someday it will come to an end. We must have offspring. Their earnestness was also conveyed to Jiang Hai. Because of this, the women took great care of him, provide him with nutritious food, to prevent him from overexertion, and take turns preparing herbal massages and herbal baths for him. Jiang Hai joked that it was a strange situation. But because you do this for me, I can also work hard. He was the only man in the village, so he's a little embarrassed. But the atmosphere is so friendly. Everything is going well. There are no major issues, as the women work in turns. The cooperative schedule is not lagging behind. Jiang Hai also held meetings from time to time, come up with ways to improve. When children are born, let's do it together. Be prepared for environmental and educational issues. And the women were right. When they grow up, the village will be more crowded. We also need schools and medical facilities. And start the discussion right away. Meanwhile, in the depths of everyone's mind, there is a prayer that they will get pregnant. More than a month later, 2 or 3 women in their 20s said their menstruation is delayed, and there is a morning sickness reaction. So they took a pregnancy test. The results were all positive. They ran all over the village, shouting that I was finally pregnant. The news spread instantly when the rest of the women also did the test. Some women in their 30s, similar results were obtained. In a short period of time, the news of 7 pregnancies came. Wow, it really works. They were all thrilled. After that, other women. I also gradually confirmed the news of my pregnancy, or even 2 or 3 more than 40. Aged women also received a positive response. Everyone was ecstatic. However, some people still have no news, or the test result is negative. Show that they have failed. It may be too early. We'll try another month or 2. They say they haven't given up hope. Jiang Hai couldn't close his mouth. There are already 8 women pregnant. I can't believe it! An amazing thing happened. The women laughed. One man causes so many women to become pregnant at once. It's legendary. Jiang Hai said embarrassedly. Don't be so exaggerated. But he's also a little proud. The village is transformed into a festive atmosphere. With the increase in the number of pregnant women, the demand for food and nutritional supplements has also increased. They decided into a considerable part of the cooperative's profits buy simple supplements and food ingredients from the mainland. They also consider arrange for someone who can act as a nurse or midwife. Unlike in the past, life without men, it is now possible to do so because they have a certain economic base. Everyone has changed a lot, they said happily. Eventually, about a month later, most women who want to get pregnant are successful. Almost all women in their 20s. A large proportion of women in their 30s, and about half of the women in their 40s. Share the news. The village suddenly became a cluster of dozens of pregnant women. Scenes of walking around, You can see women with bulging bellies everywhere. Many people fell down from the dust. Jiang Hai had to take care of them. Ask if you're okay. But there are too many pregnant women. It's hard to take care of them all one by one. The women formed a group to help pregnant women. Help each other. When tired, lend me a shoulder to lean on. Lie down and rest. They take turns taking care of each other. Everything went surprisingly well. In a nutshell, in this remote village, a man and more than 32 women. Pregnancy at the same time. So the scene was spectacular. There was no crying of a child in the past. There weren't even young men. So it's quiet, but expected. The place will soon be filled with many babies. Our tribe is being revived in this way. The older woman burst into tears. We thought when the man left, it's over. But there is such an ingenious way. Jiang Hai was surprised even when he thought about it. How many children I am going to be. But when everyone is happy, he thought to himself. His heart warmed, too, due to the fact that there are so many pregnant women. After 8 months, there will be a fertility peak. During this period, the cooperatives try to increase their profits even further. They must be preceded by milk powder for the baby at birth. Be prepared for expenses such as healthcare. Jiang Hai negotiated with the outside world. The export of medicinal herbs and handicrafts has been greatly increased. For example, they developed wild vegetables, add-ons such as rare mushrooms and interior decorations. And it is sold under the brand name of the traditional Iban people. The response has been good. The cooperative's profits increased dramatically in a short period of time. Pregnant women are heavy, suffering from vomiting and dizziness. But their hearts were filled with the joy of the magic mirror. I can finally have children. It's such a blessing. Women in their 20s are full of excitement. The woman in her 30s said with emotion, I'm finally going to be a mom now. There is also anxiety among women in their 40s. But they were helped by nurses. One by one, they are managed. So they said, let's take this as our last chance. Do our best. Didn't give up hope. Jiang Hai put a few beds in the warehouse. He converted the warehouse into a makeshift clinic. Methodical management of pregnant women. He should be the price of the high. A nurse was hired from outside to live there. Pregnant women when they feel unwell. You can always consult him. Women also take turns doing housework and part-time work to ensure that pregnant women get as much rest as possible and get enough nutrients. Jiang Hai is the only man, but many pregnant women really need it. It is the care of other women. If there is a more male workforce, it's going to be easier. But it's inevitable, because men have left in the past. One day, it was pouring rain in the village. The water in the canyon skyrocketed, creates a danger of flooding. Pregnant women must be safely protected. And there were fears that the grain and herb warehouses would be flooded. Jiang Hai immediately built a dam with the rest of the people. Divert the flow of water. They suffered in the rain. But everyone is pulling together. Luckily overcame this crisis. Didn't cause much damage. A pregnant woman in her 40s saw the scene. Said that there were men around. I felt relieved. Of course, we women can do it too. But you lead us. Gives me strength. He expressed his gratitude. Jiang Hai replied that it was thanks to everyone's joint efforts. I'm just helping. There are also some crises large and small. But the village gradually learned how to solve problems. As cooperatives stabilize both internally and externally. Having children. Raise them. And a grand blueprint for the village to prosper. It's becoming a reality. At the time of 6 or 7 months of pregnancy, women were seen walking around with big bellies. It's already commonplace. We all have big bellies. It's amazing. They laughed and stroked each other's stomachs. And jokingly said hello when Jiang Hai was nearby. The child's father. She was a little embarrassed by the title. But I felt a touching feeling. In the 8th and 9th months of pregnancy, nurses and cooperatives fully prepared for childbirth. They set up or prepared 3 temporary delivery rooms, so that even if several women give birth at the same time, we can also respond. They invited 12 additional nurses from the mainland to make up for the lack of manpower. The women clumsily learn about childbirth together, and a system was built. so that when they feel uncomfortable, it's easy to rely on each other. Jiang Hai is the only man, but cooperation between women is even more important here. If about 20 people give birth at the same time, it's going to be a crazy scene, they said half jokingly, half worriedly. Finally, around the 10th month, labor pains began. A woman in her 20s screamed in the middle of the night, "My stomach hurts." The nurses, mothers, and Jiang Hai ran to him. After 6 hours of agony, a loud cry erupted at dawn. The child came out, very healthy. The whole village cheered. Just 2 days later, another woman in her 30s went into labor. Another day passed. A woman in her 40s. After a few hours of struggle, due to dystocia, a child was born safely. It was really a series of birthing events. Approximately every 2 weeks, more than 20 pregnant women have given birth to their babies. There were even 2 days when 2 people gave birth at the same time. This mass delivery scene is amazing, the nurses said. We've never seen anything like it. Childbirth at the same time in the same village. And felt unbelievable. Other women take turns taking care of them, crying that we have another baby. The village is full of new life. Jiang Hai held the hand of his mother next to him, wipe her sweat away, and help her breathe. When several people give birth at the same time, so there are 3 buildings that are filled with the crying of babies, one after another, created a circus-like scene. Luckily, everyone had a successful delivery. There were no major accidents. 2 of the older women were in their 40s. The situation is critical, but the nurses and the team responded urgently. The baby was safely removed. After a peak of labor that lasted almost a month, nearly 20 babies were finally born. In other words, this village without men. Suddenly there were more than 20 new lives. It's an almost thrilling sight. When mother and baby after birth 2 months when it settled. The village held a mega festival they've never seen before. In the history of our village, we have never had so many babies born at once. It's a complete miracle. Everyone was excited. They roast meat and corn in the central square, and in the absence of alcohol, dancing to the cheers too. Moms took part with their babies. The men brought them food, or support their arms, lest they overwork. Jiang Hai is revered like a hero. Leaders who save us are as expected. At the climax of the festival, a celebratory ceremony was held to throw people into the air. Now the leadership has given us children. Let's throw him into the air. With applause, Jiang Hai waved his hand in embarrassment. Say you're more amazing. I'm just working with you guys. But dozens of people have already caught him and lifted him up. 123. With his body, float up and down to the rhythm of the cheers. The babies blinked curiously. The mothers enjoyed the joy of seeing it. In the midst of cheers, he was immersed in himself and really became their father. And leaders. Emotionally, from the moment the baby's cry spreads, the view of the village is completely different from what it used to be. This once quiet place. Now every morning starts with the baby's cry. Mothers are busy changing diapers or breastfeeding. Right now, Jiang Hai also spends a lot of time taking care of the children every day. Of course, it is impossible to take care of all the babies individually. But as a father of children, he did this by taking turns holding them. Comfort moms when they're tired, or comfort them when they're crying. To help. And, since he had to work for the cooperative at the same time, he also slept less. Luckily, the women take turns working part-time childcare, jobs such as housework and hospital errands. So under the synergy of a big family, everything is going well. As the saying goes, it takes an entire village to raise a child. And this has been achieved here. Cooperatives are now starting to really generate profits. A sum of money that was previously unimaginable has been brought in. The village tried to use the money, equip children with medical and educational facilities. They contacted an external hospital and sign a contract. Have a nurse come in for regular checkups 2 to 3 days a week. They have also been given vaccines and essential medicines, much safer than before. Furthermore, others believe that a small classroom should be built. Let babies over the age of 2 or 3 Get a basic gaming education. Jiang Hai proposed a blueprint. Say, if the children only grow up in this village, their vision may become narrow. So, let's let them go to the city and experience life. In the medium to long term, we can also send students to city schools. The women are hopeful. Say, I never dreamed. We can dream of such a development. This one is made by a man. 32 women and about 20 were born. Of babies in the community. It's a structure that's never been seen before. If outsiders knew about this fact, they may be shocked. But for now, the village is not widely known, because it is located in the rugged mountains and valleys. Poor transportation. However, a small number of civilians or members of non-governmental organizations came here. Can't help but be surprised. Say a person. How can it be? Having children with more than 20 women at the same time. The women of the village said proudly. He saved us all. We do so by mutual consent. Thanks to this, the village was revived. And Jiang Hai just replied simply, this is supported by love and a collective spirit. It's possible. When the babies are 1 or 2 years old, they crawled and muttered together in the clearing. Some mumble mom, or run to Jiang Hai's side and call him dad. Jiang Hai picked them all up and wondered, okay, who's your mom? Oh, and is your mom in her 20s? Then the moms giggled and pointed and said, hey, dad, can't concentrate. That's who I am. On the other hand, there is a strange feeling. Since it is a completely collective upbringing, you are all my children. But most of them smiled and comforted him. But the main caregivers for the children are me and my friends. So don't worry too much. Now everything is prosperous. The village has also become a more livable place. Past. It's hard to live without men. It's a thing of the past. Now there is a man. A successful cooperative. Many children as well as a future. Everyone agrees. However, since Jiang Hai is the only man, if there is a shortage of manpower or skills, they may recruit men from outside in the future or combined with the city to further increase the population. Some women want to say yes. If there is a chance, we can take another man and marry him. However, they are cautious to say, it is enough that we now have leaders. If too many men come in, it can be confusing. An early autumn morning. Under a clear sky, villagers are harvesting corn in their fields. Now the children are about 3 years old. Some staggered behind the mothers. Ask mom what it is. Or run around with a piece of corn and say, I want to give it to dad. Their mom said, be careful with the dirt. The children laughed and ran away. Jiang Hai is spreading fertilizer. And after the completion of the collaborative work, with the help of children, wash the corn in a trolley. You're doing a great job. Our baby was awesome. He stroked the child's head. The child smiled. Now in this there are more than 20 babies. Grew up together in the village. It was lively every day. Crying and laughter followed. Moms take turns changing diapers. The nurse also complained from time to time. I vaccinate several babies a day. I'm going crazy. But she had a smile on her face. Everyone is busy. But there aren't many complaints. Only one sentence. That's it. Gather the cries of the babies of our dreams. It's so worth it. Cooperatives have established a solid economic foundation, and agricultural products and handicrafts are steadily being sold. With an increase in income, the village is repairing and installing solar power facilities to ensure that there is an adequate supply of electricity. Every night, the lights are all on. Children browse books under bright lights. The mothers discussed with Jiang Hai or the nurses, what kind of games should children play today to develop their brains? It's an extraordinary community. There is a man, 32 women and about 20 to 30 children. But it's full of warm family love. One night, another big party was held. The reason for this time is cooperative. With a large dealer in a large city on the mainland, an annual contract was signed. This caused the village's income to skyrocket. They usually celebrate simply. But now I have children. The party turned into a big banquet. They lit a huge bonfire in the clearing. Men and women sit together. Share the corn and fir trees on your plate. The kids were running around. let out a cheerful laugh. Moms shouted to be careful not to go near the fire. But the atmosphere was peaceful. When the food reaches a certain level, someone shouted today, "Let's do another ritual of throwing into the air." Of course, the protagonist is the leader Jiang Hai. The crowd cheered and gently lifted him up. 123, his body floated lightly in the air. And then it falls. Children feel strange. Some waved their hands. Some began to cry. But when moms comfort them, the situation became more pleasant. Jiang Hai was thrown into the air. Many scenes flashed through his mind. I had an accident. The first time I came here, I almost died. I'm in a place where there are no men. A cooperative was created to kickstart the economy. Mass pregnancies can be so successful. It's unbelievable. After the party, Jiang Hai began to read at night. The light shines on the valleys and cliffs. It's like a painting. The wind was cool. Suddenly, mothers of several children followed. "Leader, we will plant winter wheat in the field tomorrow. We have to wake up early." Another woman asked, "My child had a fever in the middle of the night. Can you see him tomorrow with the nurse?" "Oh, really? Of course, I'll go with you tomorrow morning," he replied with a smile. Life here is hard, but they help each other by doing so. The achievements and warmth achieved. It is very different from the comfort of the city. When he saw 3 children playing ball in the village below. These children are my children. It's incredible. But a sense of pride welled up from the depths of his heart. Look around. He saw moms in their 40s sitting in chairs. Coax them to sleep with their lunch. Mothers in their 20s are on the side. Play with toddlers. Moms in their 30s. The cooperative's documents are being processed. But as soon as they heard the child's cry, they would run over and hug their baby. They're busy. But the smile never left their faces. True, the village is without men. There is a danger of extinction. But now there are many children. So, it may become a much larger community in the future. And, if necessary, they may accept men from the outside. And, through communication with the city, we can expand the real family. Jiang Hai fell into a reverie. This is already being implemented. For now, however, the village is changing rapidly. So they are proceeding cautiously, so as not to cause a lot of confusion. Over time, children will need primary school, and they will have to worry about middle and high school. Educate. Cooperatives will also become bigger, produce more products. So, improving infrastructure and logistics is crucial. There is no end to what needs to be done. He giggled. But he believed, if he has a loving family, it all can be shared. And the whole village depends on him. There's nothing he can't do. In one night, Jiang Hai was lying in a shack under a small lamp. Look at the sleeping baby. His mother slept next to him. The wind outside was blowing the leaves. I probably really am. He is the father of more than 20 children. It's hard to believe that feeling. But everything is true. So he felt fresh. And it's warm inside. He never thought of it when he first came here. That's how it will be. The world is unpredictable. When adventure and environment come together, they can create a completely different kind of life. If the story of this village becomes known in the future, one might say, it's an incredible fairy tale. But for those involved, this is a real reality and a form of happiness. If 32 women work with one man, achieve multiple pregnancies, and as a result, children are born, and the fact that the community was saved, is an unprecedented case. This may be of interest to many people, and try to come looking for him. Until then, the place will already have a regular school, and hospitals, as well as a more or less transportation systems that can be used, and will be ready to properly welcome visitors from outside. At all costs, the village takes the form of a large family. It is expected to continue. Jiang Hai may continue with some women, maintain a special love relationship. It plays a central role even in ordinary couples, and there may be more children born. Everything is uncertain. But one thing is for sure. This used to be a remote mountainous area, and there is no place for men. Has turned into a large family community. The only man and 32 women. Together, they interpret the true meaning of life, filled with the sound of throwing into the air and the laughter of children. The sight is now the daily life of this village. In front of the joint warehouse at noon, moms are bringing in their harvest to measure. Babies are starting to walk and play. Jianghai is. Take and report these photos to overseas buyers, or upload to social media. The surrounding mountains surround the village majestically. When the valley wind blows coolly, the women also said with a fresh and new expression, "Our lives have really changed completely. In the past, we were destined to disappear in silence. But now there are children every day. I don't even know how the day passed." They laughed. Alone, able to handle so many pregnancy events at once. The fact is still an interesting awareness. But the participants are proud. Even if they do it this way, they also save the community. When another festival takes place, even if there is no reason for this, they'll also have a party for us to celebrate. Because the cooperative sales have been good lately. Level of gathering. At a party, rituals thrown into the air will always arise. "Leader, are you a little heavier?" They joked, and threw him into the air again. The children watched the scene, waving his hands and calling him daddy. All of this, it's all a huge family photo-like sight. In the end, Jiang Hai vowed that one day, when children grow up and see the world extensively, you were born in a very special village. There are many of your mothers. But because of that, the village was saved. It is not clear how the child will understand this. But at least the children who grew up in this village will use their whole body, feel the meaning of family and community, and will do well. The Ivan extended family community in a ceremony of tossing into the air, driven by laughter and cooperatives. It will continue to prosper like this. Thank you for watching today.